bevo.com.
Andy, you've got the biggest hotel group in China. I mean, that's quite a feat. So in terms of success, what a lot of companies have gone into China over the last few years and they've quickly backed out. What would you say is the key to having successful business relations and businesses in China?
Don't back out. I think is the biggest, and start a long time ago. I think, you know, I've been working in China for a long time now, but it's Asia generally, but particularly in markets like China, there is a great premium placed on your resilience, your investment, and how much time and persistence you've put into the market. They want partners who they know are committed for the long term. And that's partly the Confucian way, but it's also the normal business sense of Chinese people because they want lifelong partnerships. They're less like the Western partners who might be in today and change tomorrow. In China, still those values are very, very deep-rooted about partners for life, you know, career-long business relationships and partnerships. So as part of that, there is a bigger investment required upfront to show that you are serious about their country, about investing in that country, about learning the customs and the ways, and sticking it out. So actually, going through the tough times and hanging in there is a big part of doing business in China. And, you know, listening a lot is another part. Everyone talks about connections and this guanxi in China, and that's very important. But it's more important, I've found, to listen hard to what's being said and to try to adapt to what people are hoping you will bring to them, and finding the middle ground. But it's a great place to do business once you are known, once you are trusted and respected, and your company has won its spurs. It's a fabulous place to be doing business.
Andy, a lot of Western organisations that haven't yet entered China know the importance inherently of having good partnerships in China, but they have the misconception that they're inherently fraught with danger and risk, and that the Chinese partner is going to take the money and run off into the mainland, and that'll be the end of it. But you've had many successful partnerships in China, and I know it's central to your business. So in terms of partnership, relationship management in China, what's the essence of building great partnerships with the Chinese?
Oh, I think that's again about time. You have to be there long enough to know who says they have the connections and the contacts and who really does, and there is a difference, and it's hard to always know. But I think, you know, you start slowly in China, and you gradually build your credibility and your credentials. And as you demonstrate your capacity to perform and your commitment to the market, and your doggedness to persevere, whatever's going on, you know, people eventually come to you and will want to do business with you. And as I said, the great thing about doing business in China is, unlike the West, in some parts of the West, it's far less promiscuous. Once you're with partners, and once you're with a partner in a particular location, they will be very loyal to you, and they will give you more of their development opportunities than they've got, rather than going to some of your competitors. In other parts of the world in the hotel business, what owners like to do is to give one to competitor A, one to competitor B, one to competitor C. In China, it's quite different. They like to keep the relationship with you, in the hotel industry at least, and up until this point at least. So it may change, but it's, you know, I think the basics though are the same around the world. I think you have to do what you say you're going to do, be committed, be loyal to your partners, and be there for them. So, you know, when the tragedy of the Sichuan earthquake happened earlier this year, you know, we did whatever we could on the ground and financially to try and help, and we supported our partners in the area. So, and it's that sort of showing up, it's that being there and meaning it, good times and bad, that makes a big difference. And those relatively small things get noticed a lot in China.
And how much time do you spend in China yourself? Because when we were trying to see if we could get you to do this interview with us, I think you were actually in China at the time. So how much have you...
I've been there twice in the last 5 weeks. I've probably been there this year 5 or 6 times. So I'm there disproportionately given the amount of hotels we've got there. You know, I could spend my life in Northern Europe or in America if that was where it was just an issue of the volume. But you know, you have to be where the growth is probably the greatest, and where the customer expectation is highest, maybe the owner expectation. So I think we have a good advantage in China. I'm just determined to make sure we don't lose any of that because I don't show up.
In terms of staffing for the leadership positions in China, what percentage of your people in China are sort of local Chinese versus the Western managers that you've trained and groomed over here in the West and you've worked with versus the returnees, the Chinese people that are returning to mainland China?
It depends on in the corporate offices. We still have a reasonably high number of expats, but we've probably got 75% or 80% now, maybe, of our senior team and top 30 managers in China are Chinese. There is a rising cadre of very talented management coming up now, who have been brought up in Western companies and educated in Chinese universities, who speak great English, because sadly we don't speak Mandarin as much as we should. And that cadre is going to break through in the rank into the top ranks over the next 4 or 5 years. I think we're just at the moment now where we're still quite reliant on expats to bring the processes in and they sync it up with the rest of the world and how you bring those systems in. But very soon now we're going to see a lot of the top positions go to Chinese people, as they should do. So we're trying very hard to make sure that we've got enough Chinese-born talent in our management team coming through, and we spend a lot of time with that.
Andy, it's great. You're so committed to the Chinese market, and I can understand why. But tell us about the Chinese academies that you're setting up and you're creating, because that really makes you very different to the others. It's
a demonstration of commitment. We've got 24 academies around China now. We've just signed our 24th. These are tertiary educational institutes where we create a hospitality program for students, and we design it. They teach it. We then give secondments and placings in our hotels, and then at the end of the diploma, they join us. We're going to have 6,000 graduates a year joining us from 2011 onwards, a year, and that's the sort of scale of resourcing we're after in China, just graduates. So we're the only company doing that. So again, talk about building a competitive advantage in a strategic market. That's what that's about.
It seems to me, Andy, that IHG is in a great position because you've been in China since 1984 and you've got a chief executive, most importantly, that's really committed to the Chinese market.
Bevo